Life is weird.
Super weird.
So, what did we decide to do with our fascination for the strange and unusual?
We made a podcast about it. This is Weirdify. Now,
let's get weird. We are live.
We family.
We are live. Coming at you from Scooby-Doo Studios.
Scooby-Doo. Ooh, we should get that in a neon sign.
When I first got the microphones and Weirdify was like becoming Weirdify, Alex and his cleverness was sitting where you're sitting, and he was like, "Oh, doobity-bop-ba, Scooby-Doo Studios, coming at you live from Scooby-Doo Studios."
We now need a sign that says Scooby-Doo Studios.
Yeah, he's gonna love that one.
Yep, that's an Alex original.
That's an Alex original.
That's an Alex original.
Indeed. Scooby-Doo-bop.
Scooby-Doo-bop-a-doo.
Ooh, Ooh-ba-doo-bop-a, ooh.
Scooby-Doo-bop.
Boo.
Scooby-Doo-bop. That was my... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What's his name?
Armstrong?
Louis Armstrong.
There we go.
I was like, Louis. And I love that shit. That's why I was like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. I'm clearly having an aneurysm.
I really couldn't remember his first name, but the last name did not evade, so...
Louis. Trumpet.
Armstrong.
Scooby-Doo-bop.
Oh, fuck.
Newfound Hayley trick.
Also, Unicorn Dad says we need a name for our listeners. And we can take this part out, but he said if it's not Weirdifuckers, it's got to be something.
Weird-a-family?
I love it.
I did Weird-a-family. I've used Weird-a-family. I've just used Weirdos.
I feel like Weirdos is like basic.
It is basic. We
Weirdos.
can. Yeah, we can. We can leave it in if we want them. Hopefully people will write in and tell us what they...
What are your clever weird...
I mean, Weirdifuckers is hilarious.
It's a very, like, my dad original for sure.
Weird-a-Fritos.
Wow.
Weird.
We're going to dip you in some bean deep.
Weird-a-Friends.
Oh. I like family, but I like friends too.
Weird-a-family. Weird-a-family as a general, but like...
Yeah.
I don't know. I think Weird-a-family we can use for sure.
Okay. Maybe we can ponder on it. It was just an idea that he had said.
Yeah,
we'll
noodle on it.
Addressing the listeners as a
we'll noodle on
term.
It. You don't get to be included in that though, Jim, because you're Unicorn Dad. He's his own brand.
Yeah, you're your own brand.
Yeah.
Lucky you. Thanks for making me and stuff.
We're currently drinking lime margaritas. I was gonna do some ASMR because it's like pretty much 90% melted, but there's like that last 10% of just a little bit of icy. But like, listen as I sip this. That's the good stuff.
That's the ASMR you didn't know you signed up for.
Weird. Oh, no. I was going to try to make it like weird ASMR. No.
Ooh. I like it.
Weird.
And I know that ASMR is not for everybody, so if your hair is just like tingling, then...
I know if that was like nails on a chalkboard for you, I do apologize.
Don't assume anything when you click play.
Yeah.
You'll never know.
Yeah, it keeps you on your toes.
Just, I don't know. Might be able to hear it, might not. I can hear it in my ears.
Is it churros?
No. Churros is like, waka, 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 churro, waka, 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 waka. The little bell is like a cart, and he has like hot Cheetos and like a few other like things.
I was going to say, because churros would have been on brand for tonight.
He probably has like a few popsicle type things. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, this is like the little ice cream. If the churro guy runs by, I do kind of want a churro.
We love a good theme.
We really, truly love a good theme. Love a good theme. We've not talked about this, but Amanda and I, not whenever we hang out, but
decide like an entire menu.
Yeah, so we'll do like an appetizer, a snack, a main meal, and a drink. Do we do a dessert or no? It's been a hot minute since we've done one.
I would say it would like depend on the day because like we did that whole Disneyland themed day and we did.
Oh my gosh.
Did we do Dole Whips? What did we do?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
So we did. Okay, highly recommend everybody. I don't care if you like Disney or don't like Disneyland. Like,
if you don't like Disneyland, it's probably not going to be as fun.
Oh yeah, okay, fine. But we know that there's our tribe out there that will absolutely adore this. During COVID, Amanda and I had a Disneyland day. She came over to my house and we wore Disney Mickey ears. I think we wore spirit jerseys or some sort of Disney attire.
Because Disneyland was closed.
And she got there early. And since we're obviously like Disneyland's like second nature for us, we've been so many times. We planned out our entire day. On my big living room television, Amanda and I queued up basically what a day at Disneyland and California Adventure, we did both, would look like for each of us. So we started early. We did the quote unquote rope drop. So we were there for when like the park opened or whatever.
And we watched POV rope drop videos.
And we watched YouTube videos of people at the rope drop. And then we were like, we hit up Tomorrowland point of view YouTube video rides. And then we did it for like all the different lands. And then we hopped over to California Adventure. We even did old school rides. So like we did the original 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea submarine voyage that's been closed for years.
And we did Twilight, Tower of Terror,
then we did Nemo, and then
Guardians.
and then we did Twilight Zone, Tower of Terror, and we did Guardians.
And I think we did Soarin' Over California and
the original, and then Soarin' Over Around the World or whatever, Soarin' Around the World. Yeah,
whatever.
Yeah. R.I.P.
And it was like, we were done at like 10:30 and we were like, whoa, if you don't have to walk through the park and you can just be on the ride, it's very quick.
Oh, absolutely. And then we ended the day. And so throughout the day, obviously, we were like, okay, we made homemade Disneyland corn dogs.
And I will say, I don't really cook. I've really given it my fair shot. It's just not really my jam. Hayley is the master chef behind all of this. She literally bought a fryer. A deep fryer for the corn dogs.
I was dedicated. Yeah. So we did Disneyland corn dogs. We did Dole Whips. We made gumbo in bread bowls.
Oh, that's right.
Oh my gosh, the gumbo in the bread bowls. Oh, and then then I think we made popcorn. And then we watched the fight. Oh my gosh, we watched World of Calorie Reach. Oh, and it was free. It was other than the groceries. It was amazing. It was the best theme day we've done, but we've done so many.
And we've done a lot that are also the best theme day, but that one takes the cake because it's like why we do the other theme days, which are usually Disney.
They are. What was your favorite one that we've done? Minus Disneyland. Okay, the Disneyland day is like on a league of its own.
Minus Disneyland.
Because we've done Asian night where we got sushi and drank sake and watched Mulan.
Yeah. I'm really trying to think like my favorite one.
We did Mexican night where we made homemade Crunchwrap Supremes and we made margaritas and we watched Nacho Libre.
Yeah, not Disney, but...
Not Disney.
Still a theme night.
So should have watched Coco, Nacho Libre. I'm sorry. People can come at me. It was garbage. I was not a fan.
Good those.
No, I was not a fan of Nacho. It just was all bad.
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember the other ones that we did.
I don't know if, like, Nacho Libre was my favorite movie that we based a theme night off of, but those Crunchwrap Supremes were...
Oh my
so good.
Gosh. Homemade Crunchwrap Supremes.
Oh my gosh. Try it, people.
It's so much better.
Yeah. It's life-changing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. You get the
and have Hayley make them because they're really...
I'll come to everyone's house and I will make you a full-fledged
seriously, having Hayley as a friend is like... I don't know how to explain it in like food words because it's like, oh, what are you making this evening? Oh, zuppa toscano with homemade breadsticks. And you're like, great.
Perfect. That's everything.
When do I dish up?
I texted you today and I asked if we could record the week of the 12th. We can take this out, but the week of the 12th on Wednesday because the 12th is Michael's birthday and all he wants is for me to cook for his birthday.
Of course.
And so I'm making him a steak dinner with loaded mashed potatoes.
No, we can't take this out.
Oh, okay.
This stays.
And then I'm making him Caesar salad and then I'm going to make...
Are you making the dressing?
No. That's just going to be like a bagged salad, just like classic.
Gotcha.
I'm not, I mean, I could
yes,
do
you
it.
Are. Yes, you are.
I could do it, but a good classic, like bagged Caesar salad.
Sure.
But I'm going to do the loaded mashed potatoes from scratch. I'm going to season the steak from scratch. And then I'm making homemade creme brulee. Wow.
I think,
yeah, that's like what he wanted. I was like, what do you want to do for your birthday? And he's like, just feed me. And I was like,
aw, that's a good husband.
Yeah. But,
okay.
Yeah, that's any excuse I have to cook for anybody is my ideal. Yeah. Even for your birthday this year, if you want me to, I can do an entire vegetarian something. I'll do whatever you want me to. Oh my God. She is drooling or she's spitting up. I'm not 100% sure.
Neither am I.
Good Lord. Well, that was quite a tangent. I think it's
a really good thing it started off on such a fucking cheery note, because what it's going to trickle into is not so cheery at all. Just would like to preface that.
You know what?
Yeah. What? No, I don't know.
So this topic, I'm going to say that it was hard. I wanted to go in real scary. Real scary. I'll touch on our topic that we're doing in a second.
Okay.
I want it to be so scary. Mine is not very, I don't think it's very scary.
Okay, mine is.
Oh, perfect.
It's actually terrifying.
Oh my God, I'm so excited. Okay, yeah, because mine's not super scary. And I was thinking, I was like, damn, I should have done the Bell Witch this time.
That's so funny because I thought that, but I was like, that's okay. Like, she still worked for paranormal. This is just a little bit more like specific within paranormal.
This week we are covering weird ghosts.
Yes.
And I'm extremely excited that yours is very scary because, again, mine is not.
You have heard my story. You'll see.
Oh.
But it's terrifying. And when I was like typing up my thing last night, I was like, I literally turned on every single light in the house.
Oh my God.
And Alex,
you don't do scary, so I'm like, oh my gosh. Okay.
And Alex was like, came home and he's like, bless my husband's heart. He's always trying to like turn the lights off in the house because I just like leave a trail of electricity on.
Yeah.
And I was like, don't turn off any lights. I'm scared. He like came home and I'm like, every light is on for a very good reason.
Oh my gosh.
I was going to get haunted as fuck. Okay.
Oh, I'm so excited. Well, you're going first.
You've already heard it. So, okay. All right. Should I take it away?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I get like this freaky Cheshire cat grin, just like tell me to stop because I'm so excited.
You're going to be less, I promise.
I don't think I'm going to be less excited. Maybe
are.
I'm extra excited because I've had like 3 margaritas, but
you're going to, I feel like you're going to be less excited. Okay.
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 Sorry.
No, okay. I'm just going to start and we're just going to take it away, Ernie.
Take it away.
So, ghosts or spirits have always been in debate. Are they really here? Is it just us? So many people believe strongly either way. And the evidence that people state of, quote, proof always seems to be subject to opinion or a glitch in the camera or just your imagination. But what if it's not? I know you strongly believe in ghosts.
Yep.
And in the last couple of years, I have definitely opened up to the possibility of there being more than just us.
Mm-hmm.
Which I would say I was very closed off to before that.
Sure.
And I mean, why not? We are limited to the senses that we have here on Earth, and perhaps seeing things beyond our dimension is not a sense we all have. And I say all because there are absolutely psychics that claim to have a connection to this sixth sense. Mm-hmm. There are a multitude of senses that we know many animals have that humans don't possess, such as being able to see the magnetic field, sensing electric fields, even seeing infrared radiation. That list truly just goes on and on and on. So it does beg the question, like, just because we don't see it, does it mean it's not there? Mm-hmm. No, it doesn't.
Yeah. Always trust your animals, people.
Trust your animals.
Trust your babies.
And know that our 5 senses of like taste, touch, see, hear,
very
smell
limited.
Are extremely limited.
Yep.
And what we can sense in this dimension is limited.
Yep.
So before I get into my story, I wanted to touch on a few modern day technologies that might, and I do want to preface might. I am not saying any of these are hard proof, and I will probably repeat that like 10 times, so just bear with me. But they might show that ghosts or at least show something more might be there that we cannot see. A lot of these are maybe silly and not hard proof, but I think they're fun and definitely worth mentioning for this episode. So one is just this is not a modern day technology, but just like the feeling that someone is there. And I'm going to touch back into that in a minute. Mm-hmm. But a lot of people have like just this feeling of a presence that you can't explain. You just know something is there. Okay. The second is the use of music or sound.
Mm-hmm. Which are also a different set of waves or like a different layer of things, which I'm sure you'll touch on.
Absolutely. I don't know that I'm going to touch on it more, but one of, like, somebody I know was just mentioning that somebody that they know that passed, they had this connection to like a certain artist. Yeah. So they were listening to this soundtrack that them and this other friend had listened to many times. And it was just on shuffle on Spotify. And the order of the songs just like shook them. It was like, they're here. Like, I can feel that they're here in the order of these songs. So there's that. And then this is something that I have been seeing on TikTok. Teslas in a cemetery.
Yes.
Teslas have this feature where you can drive around and it'll show you where a person is. Mm-hmm. And so this trend right now is that people are taking their Teslas and driving it through cemeteries, and it's picking up people. But there's no people. We're just driving through an empty cemetery.
Yeah. It's like the filter where people are like, it's like supposed to read heat signatures. Mm-hmm. And so you'll you'll like face it on an empty couch, and then it's like there's clearly a heat signature of like a body or something there. There's clearly nothing there.
The energy filter on TikTok.
Oh,
Hayley perfectly alluded to. Exactly, though. It's like, well, what is it picking up then? It doesn't necessarily mean it's a ghost. It's not proof that there's a ghost, but it might be picking up
energy.
Something.
Yeah.
And I have seen, honestly, so many of these where people are like using this to quote, like, find ghosts in their house. And it is interesting because, like, sometimes it's a human figure and there's nothing there. Mm-hmm. And then I was watching one the other day in my research, and she's like, I always knew that there was a ghost cat in my house. And the way that it was picking up, the filter had like a tail. Like, it was very interesting. Yeah.
I wonder if people, just for the hype, are like sitting in their couch and like making themselves warm so that it picks up like a heat signature of them still sitting there, and then they'll go film it. I'm sure that there's something to it, obviously, because it's heat signatures or energy signatures that we just don't register. But the cat's interesting. It's interesting you bring up a cat.
Yeah.
Always.
So it was also picking up I was taking this filter around my office, and it was picking up like people in pictures.
Like where it takes your picture alive, or it was like still the energy?
A picture of,
interesting.
Like in a picture of like people, and it was like picking up them, and I was like, that's interesting.
Huh? Because I've seen the one where it's like make pictures alive, and they're like the pictures are blinking and all that shit.
That filter freaks me out.
Yeah, no,
I'm not about that.
It's definitely a little trippy. People are doing their
reflection in a mirror, and I'm like, stop that right now.
Well, you should never taunt your reflection in a mirror ever.
Stop.
Yeah.
You're asking for bad things.
You are. Mirrors are no joke.
Stop.
We'll do a mirror we should do a mirror episode. Oh, no, maybe not, if that's going to trigger you. She put her hand to her head like, please, God, no. So maybe we won't do a mirror episode? Like, or a portal episode?
How about like mirrors / portals?
That's what I'm saying. I mean, a mirror is
okay. Right. Okay, I love it.
We'll cross that bridge together. Okay, continue.
Okay,
energy filter.
So then the last filter that I have to talk about is the dog filter on Snapchat, where you put it over your face and it gives you 2 little dog ears and a little dog nose, and you open your mouth and a tongue comes out. Well, Twitter user Espinozie, Espinoziee, she was using this filter, and apparently this is not super uncommon, but people use this filter and it picks up a second face that isn't there. And she's laying in her bed, and it's clearly picking up this second face. And she said, "Ghost, open your mouth." And the tongue came out.
What? That's trippy. I've seen it pick up. That's interesting, though.
Yeah, it's a little creepy, a little bit weird.
Ooh.
So yeah, super fun. So those are just a few of the sort of modern day things that are making people kind of raise an eyebrow, like, what's really going on? What is it picking up here?
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to talk about, this is not my story, but I wanted to talk about the story of you and me. And this was the first time in my life that I had really experienced sensing something that maybe, like, that I couldn't really see.
Yeah.
And there was actually a person there to back up what I was feeling. And then you can help me fill in the details, as this was many years ago. But we were having a sleepover. And we were sleeping in your room, and I don't know who brought it up or how it was brought up. And at this point in time, you and I had many sleepovers, probably several in that room. Like, you had moved from upstairs to downstairs. But we had many sleepovers in that house, like probably several in that room. And that particular night, you and I both felt a presence.
Yeah.
And not a nice one.
Yeah.
It was a very not welcome
It didn't
presence.
seem like it was going to hurt us, at least from what I remember. It didn't feel like it was going to do anything of harm to us, but it definitely felt like it was not a welcomed spirit. It was not a spirit that was just like, oh, okay, and you get like the warm fuzzies. You get the, oh, okay, there's just someone here and it's just you accept it. No, it felt like that was someone. It was a very distinct feeling that somebody was there. And I remember the night that it happened, we were looking, because when I had moved down in the room downstairs, there was that, I guess it was an old like fire detector or a smoke alarm or something. And it had those red lights, and the red lights were like doing something weird.
100%. Yes.
And then I remember I was like, that's weird. I think I had like you or I had mentioned something about the lights the night of, but then the next morning we had actually mentioned, and I was like, I don't want to freak you out, but it felt like something was there.
No, it was that night.
Was it that night? I feel like we had talked about it that morning.
Like snuggling together. Like I remember us like talking about it and being like unsettled, like together.
Maybe we did, because I remember talking about the lights and how it was doing something weird.
Maybe we mentioned that the next morning. But I think, I don't know who brought it up, but one of us was like, do you sense?
And it was like, yeah, no, I definitely do. Because we were scared.
Yeah. And then do you remember, okay, so we feel this energy, this presence that's not welcome, not
necessarily a good energy.
Right. It was not a good energy.
Yeah.
Maybe they weren't there to harm us, but they were not a good energy.
Yeah.
We were both very like unsettled.
We felt it.
Freaked.
Yeah.
And we looked up on your ceiling and there was a handprint.
Yes. Okay. That was the next morning. Because we woke up and we were like, okay, and then we were talking about how freaked out we were the night before, and then we looked up, and then I remember you had commented and you're like, oh my God, there's a fucking handprint on your ceiling. And you were expecting me to respond like, oh yeah, it's totally a joke, whatever. And I was like, I've never seen that before in my life. And then you just, I remember
chills again.
I remember you screaming, like you just screamed. And I was like, oh my God. And then I remembered it was because we had someone painting the ceiling. And so they had like put their handprint up while they were painting the ceiling.
God.
And it was very clearly a human handprint.
It was not a good
But it was not a good thing. Yeah, no,
events.
it was not a good thing to see after you're like, there's this unwelcome presence. And it was still sort of
light on the fucking smoke detector was freaking out.
It was. And it would normally just be like, I think a solid red light, or it would like blink very slowly, and it was like flickering. Like it was like a very weird.
Yeah.
It was a weird thing. That was like the only like quote unquote paranormal or like strange experience I've ever had. So yeah, pretty much the stuff you remember is what I remember too.
Cool. Okay, so I wanted to talk about that story. Great. So then I have thought about telling this story a few times on the podcast, but it never really felt right. But I thought that I would tell it to our listeners because it was the first time in my life that I thought that I was seeing a ghost or something paranormal. So it was a night like any other, and I fell asleep. But in this sleep, I had my first lucid dream. And lucid dreaming, for anybody that doesn't know, is when you know you're dreaming, but you're still awake and you can control the dream. And so in this dream, my neighbor's fence, I was very much at home, which sometimes in dreams you can know you're somewhere, but it's not really the right place.
It looks completely different or whatever, yeah.
At home, my neighbor's fence was absolutely my neighbor's fence, and Basically, there's a lot of dogs in my neighborhoods that bark. I'm sure you've all heard this.
Or at least us mention it.
Yeah. And my neighbor has 2 pit bulls. That's not really important, but my neighbor has 2 pit bulls. And what happened was the fence like disappeared. And what came through the fence was like 5 or 6 black shadowy dogs with yellow eyes. And
You have not told me this.
I haven't?
No.
I've told you the rest of this for sure.
You have not mentioned anything about this part.
Okay. So this was the start of these a stream of events.
Uh-huh.
So I have the stream and the fence in like one area goes away. It's like an 8-foot area of fence just like disappears in my dream. And these shadowy dogs with yellow eyes come out. And I know that they're dogs. Obviously they're shaped like dogs. And they have these just menacing yellow glowing eyes. And they're like growling, like
at you or just in general?
Yeah. Like at me.
Okay.
Not like they're necessarily going to attack, but just like
I'm here.
Yes.
Got it.
And in my dream, I was like, I'm dreaming. And I was like, oh, cool. Well, I know what this means. This means that I can control what happens next. And this is so me. I run inside and I make vines grow up the side of my house to protect me from the dogs. And so all of these vines just immediately grow up the walls of my house. Cool. It protects me from the dogs. It protects me from the sounds of the dogs. I'm good. I'm safe. I wake up the next day, carry on. And then the next night was the first night that I saw it. Somewhere early in the 3 a.m. hour, there it was at the foot of my bed. 3 a.m. is also known, for anybody that doesn't know, as the witching hour, or I also read online as the devil's hour. But I've also heard from other people that there's certain times within 3 a.m. hour that like ancestors and loved ones try to come through too. Like it's not necessarily
just more sensitive time frames.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's said to be a very active time for spirits and ghosts, and said to be when they are most powerful. So what I saw at the foot of my bed, this figure was black, and only black with one exception. There was no definition, just the outline of a person, not even really a person, almost more of like a person-shaped blob. There was a head, but not even a neck, and then shoulders, and then just sort of like drapes into the rest of the body. And the exception to the darkness of this figure was its glaring yellow eyes, which was like the only real feature. So there it was at the foot of my bed, and it didn't really do anything except scare the shit out of me. And when I saw this, I would like to preface this with saying I did not see this with my eyes open. I did not see this like sitting up in my room. There it is at the foot of my bed. But what happened was I woke up, I looked at the clock, and when I closed my eyes, I was having like a vision. And with my eyes closed, I could see this thing at the foot of my bed, and I could feel it there. It was there. Like I knew that it was there. And if I opened my eyes, I was 100% sure that it would still be there, which, you know me, I'm like totally a scaredy pants. Which is probably why
you're
I
like, I'm keeping my eyes shut at least.
open
I'm not gonna
my eyes. And it just was there, and it just looked at me, and it was just there. Alex is fast asleep, sound asleep, sweet little boy.
Mm-hmm.
So cut to the next night. It's somewhere in the 3 a.m. hour, and I wake up, and there it is again. And then the next night, and the next night. And at this point, I do remember telling a friend what was going on, and this friend is very spiritual, very into this realm of paranormal, all of this type of thing. And they told me, you know, if you're feeling brave enough, if you're feeling bold enough, you can ask it to show itself. And I was like, oh God, like, I don't know. And they're like, well, if this is a new sense for you, and they're all into this, so, you know, I'm just going off of what they're telling me. If this is a new sense for you, then maybe this thing doesn't really know how to present itself to you. And if it's not like outwardly hurting you, then maybe it's not trying to. And maybe it's like a family member. And I was like, okay. And I was thinking, well, like, I haven't really lost, luckily in all of my life, I really haven't lost family members that are like, that I could think of that would come to mind that might want to show up and say something to me. And the only one that came to mind was my great-grandma Mac. And after this conversation with this friend, I remember talking to another friend named Hayley, who I'm sitting with right now.
This friend right here.
And I was telling you about everything that was going on and what this other friend had told me. And we nicknamed this thing Big Mac, which I don't know if that was a good idea, but it's what we
gave
did.
It a sense of identity.
It's what we did. Its nickname was Big Mac.
In hindsight.
Yeah.
Questionable.
I don't know if we were trying to just like downplay it or just like make it less
I think
freaky,
we were.
But
it was like a coping mechanism. Was like, how can we make this like less scary than it actually is?
100%.
But I wasn't experiencing it. You were. So you had to deal with the repercussions of that, unfortunately.
Absolutely. So the next night I go to sleep and I'm honestly freaked out. And at this point, when I'm falling asleep, I'm getting very scared. I'm having so much anxiety. And let me tell you, I love crawling into bed and going to sleep.
As do many, but yes.
Like leaving bed is my least favorite thing. Crawling into bed is my favorite thing. So having anxiety and like so much stress about falling asleep and knowing that somewhere in the 3 o'clock hour, this thing is probably going to be at the foot of my bed was a very raw and new experience for me. I go to sleep. I wake up somewhere in the 3 o'clock hour. There this thing is. And in my head, I'm always seeing this in my, call it your third eye, call it your mind's eye, call it your imagination. This thing was there. And I said, show yourself. And what happened to this shape was awful. And the only thing that morphed was its mouth. And the only thing that I can compare what happened was to like a crocodile or an alligator mouth, where it really came out very protrude. And the teeth that it had were very jagged and very sticking up, both up and down, up and down.
They were like rows, you said too, right? It was like rows of teeth. It wasn't just like a standard, just
it was
one layer.
It was terrifying.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, my great grandma had a wheelchair, so that's not.
Oh no,
that's not a wheelchair. And I am just like, okay, great advice, friend. Great advice. Thank you so much. So after this turned into this thing, this mouth thing, and then like immediately went back, it turned into this thing for like 2 seconds. The next night it was at the foot of my bed again, except this night, instead of just staying at the foot of my bed, it did some sort of hop or leap or like jump to the side of my bed where I am. And I'm up against a wall, which you would think would be safe, but not from things that that are not physical, like my hands, like this table, like this microphone.
Yeah. It was a shadowy figure. And if you think about your shadow against a wall, the wall's not.
It's not bound by the same
to that,
physics. Yeah. And so it basically leaped right over to me, and it was inches from me. And I could almost, I don't want to say feel its breath, but I could feel like its breath. I don't know how else to say it.
It's like presence, but it was more than its presence. Like you weren't just like, there's something next to me. It was like, it was very much there. Yeah.
And I
get what you're saying.
Move towards me. And I remember like making this weird noise, like, and I just remember like grabbing Alex's hands, like just fast asleep, like no care in the world next to me.
It's really, I remember hearing this story and I thought it was really interesting because you don't do scary things. For you to have been so, it seemed calm and collected, you know, like versus like forcing yourself to wake up or screaming or something. Like it just seemed very out of character for you, not necessarily in a bad way, just in a different way that I would not have expected things to go. So
I agree. I think I just like didn't know what to do. I had never experienced that.
Stunned
before.
Silent or numb or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah. And I was just like, I don't know what's going on. There's someone right next to me, like inches away. Like if I just like swatted my hand out, I would have hit this thing. So then the next day I go to this friend and I'm like, okay, like ask them to show themselves. And this is what happened. And they said, oh no, I don't like this thing. And I want this thing out. I want this thing out of your house and I want this thing out of your life. And what they did, again, very well versed in all of these things, they gave me a bunch of tools. many, many tools to help rid myself of this thing. And it was very nerve-wracking, the thought of coming home and like telling this thing to leave and like banishing it from my house. And I came home, and at this point I had not told Alex anything because I didn't know what was going on. I pretty much told you and that friend, and that was it.
Mm-hmm.
And you're my ghosty friend.
Yeah.
And so, you know, and you're also my best friend. But but I was like, okay, well, if anybody's going to know maybe or have some kind of insight, maybe it's somebody who listens to a lot of ghost stuff, you know? So I was like talking to you about it and this other friend about it. And I came home that night. They like literally took me to a store, bought me a bunch of stuff. Like just this person is the reason that I have so many damn crystals now too. Like I will say,
gotta protect yourself.
That's right. And I came home and I told Alex everything that was going on, and I was like, look, I'm scared. I don't want to go to sleep. I'm very afraid to go to sleep right now. This thing is going to just show up. And Alex is just always amazing and always finds new ways to just surprise me and inspire me. And he's like, I don't know what you're going through, and I don't pretend to, and I want to like help you feel safe and protected in any way that I can. And so we went around the whole house multiple times, and we were just like, get out.
Yeah.
And my sweet Alex went as far as to grab his childhood dog's ashes.
This is the sweetest story.
And put it underneath of the bed, and we asked Shadow to, oh my God, I'm not going to cry.
Don't cry. Because then you're going to make me cry.
I know. We asked Shadow to protect us and watch over us and keep us safe. And really me. And he even was like, let's just switch the orientation. Like we ended up sleeping that night where our feet normally are. And he was just like, let's just throw the whole thing off. And we put like crystals in Shadow's little box and like loving crystals and negative energy crystals and all these things. And that night when I woke up at 3 a.m., because I did, instead of seeing this terrifying, like just menacing, hovering figure, I was instead surrounded by clouds, pink and white clouds. And it was so soft, and I knew that I was surrounded by so much love, and it was so welcomed and relaxing. And I have not seen that thing since.
Amen.
It has not woken me up at 3 a.m. since. And that is my ghost story. Hayley's just shaking her head.
I'm just like reliving it. But I'm like reliving it because I got to a point where I wouldn't mention it because you had A, specifically asked me not to, and B, I was like, okay, no point in harping on it, especially when you were like, no, like this person is giving me all these tools. Like me and Alex went around and we like blessed the house and we told it just to get out of our lives, get out of our house, get out of our home, like whatever. And so I just, out of respect, just kind of dialed back from talking about it. So like in a sense, reliving it, because obviously it's different. Like it was pretty much the way you just retold it was very similar to how you first initially told me. Obviously, like you've kind of come to terms with it and you've like processed it and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But it was like I was reliving it again with you. So I was just like, come so far.
It's freaky.
And I haven't heard any other stories, and I've never experienced anything like that myself, God forbid. So it's like to hear I've heard stories. Obviously, we've talked about some what's the weirds of people in my life that have, gone through seeing shadow figures and things like that.
Absolutely.
So it was just very jarring as someone on the outside, having this whole idea of, oh my gosh, this is no bueno. And like you said, I'm your ghosty friend. So it's like I'd heard stories of shadow figures. I've heard of all of this stuff. And, it's different when it happens to someone that's like important to you and close to you. And
not just like on another podcast.
Exactly. And just hearing it's fascinating to hear it from happening to other people. But then when you actually come to me like, so like this thing happened the other night and I need to talk to you about it. And I'm like, holy shit. And so then I'm like, oh my God, holy shit. Like it just is. I was there with you again. So I was just like, please don't cry. I was like, then I'm going to cry. I'm feeling all this with you. Like, even though I didn't experience it with you, like I was feeling it with you. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So it was scary even just to hear about it, let alone to go through it.
Yeah.
So I'm thankful I didn't have to. And it's just like, yeah.
You did in a sense. I drug you in. I'm sorry.
As like a friend
I didn't
who
know
cares.
what to do.
Yeah, as a friend who cares, but I would understand. I wouldn't think you were crazy. I wouldn't think you were weird. Like, I absolutely believe in all that shit. So it's like, you know, I was more, what is it stemming from? Where is it coming from? What gave it the opening to enter your life?
Yeah.
You know, that's why I was like, I don't remember you telling me about the dogs. I'm like, okay, well, you know.
I was thinking, like, did these dogs open a portal for this thing?
That's what I'm saying, because I'm like, okay.
There's, like, seriously, like, 5 or 6 or 7 dogs that all looked, it was like the dog version of this figure.
Yeah. And so I don't remember you telling me that. For some reason, I vaguely remember you, like, I feel like you might have left a lot out and you had just said something along the lines of, I had a nightmare the other day. This thing was trying to get me, but, you know, I was lucid dreaming and I was able to put vines up the house. And that's all, honestly, I think all that I can recollect. Mm-hmm. I don't remember the group of dogs. And then my mind just goes to, like, I haven't talked about them on here yet. I'm sure I will touch on them as hellhounds. And so people will see, like, these black figures of dogs. And it's basically that. It's like kind of the guard dog for this opening for, like, a darker figure. And it's not going to happen again. You've blessed the house. I've blessed the house. I've blessed you. God. I've prayed for you. Nothing bad is going to happen. Nothing bad's going to come through. They're not welcome. None of it. But there have been stories that I've heard where it's that they're basically the guard dogs for the devil, dark entities in general. And so it might have just been, and again, this was, I know, a very vulnerable time in your life, a time where you were starting this journey of, like, you know, growth and, like, just becoming just the best version of yourself. So there was a lot of vulnerability, you know, a certain part of you was weakening as the rest of you was going stronger.
Started it.
Right.
All. Like, nothing had started it prior to this.
Yeah. So it was kind of the period where you were letting your guard down. And obviously what's going to try to take advantage of that? Someone that wants to hold you down, something that wants to keep you held back, something that wants to keep you dark, something, and not saying you were a dark person at all, but someone that wants to keep you from realizing your truth and realizing your light and realizing all of the good things, you know? And so it would make sense that before, obviously, this time of, you know, rebirth in a sense, this thing is going to try to keep you stagnant and keep you there. You know what I mean? And it's just like, no, like, you overcame that. You overpowered it. It just, we're just like, okay, no, you're not welcome here. You're not going to hold me back. And you just kind of surpassed it. And so it's like, okay, fine. Like, I clearly can't be here because my presence literally does nothing here. So you defeated it. And that's why I was like, these dogs aren't welcome here. It's still not welcome here. It's vanquished. It's gone. It's no longer even giving you any kind of anything.
Yeah.
So, but it was scary to experience it, especially as someone, I've never experienced something like that. And I know that you hadn't either. So it was a complete 360 from anything you've ever gone through.
Absolutely.
So I was like, watching someone you care about go through it, you're like,
yeah, totally. Thank you for being there with me.
Oh, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Thanks. It was like the scariest moment.
I mean,
week.
I selfishly
of my life. It was like a good week every single night for like a week.
It was
if
a
not
hot
a few
minute.
More.
It was like, a hot minute.
I was seeing this fucking thing at the foot of my bed,
and I
was like, hello.
Yeah,
please leave.
Although I am super into ghost stories and super into paranormal, like, and I don't consider myself a sensitive person to things like that, but I do 110% believe in stuff like that. So listening to you, I was like, this is very real. This is not something that's welcome. You know, it was different, and it was quite an experience. And I'm thankful. I'm so thankful that I've never had to experience it, like, to even that extent. And I've had people since tell me stories about shadow figures and sleep paralysis, and hopefully they'll write in eventually and talk about their experiences and their stories. But yeah, I'm glad it didn't happen to me, but it was just as hard watching it happen to someone that you care about.
Yeah.
And them especially, and I wouldn't say you were necessarily a skeptic, you were just kind of like indifferent about the whole thing. And so then for it to happen like twofold to you, it's just like, holy shit. Like,
yeah.
Holy shit. If I didn't think it was real, it's like, I definitely think that it's real now. Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it is.
Very scary.
But we can't let it have that power.
No, and when I say it's scary, I mean it's scary because it's unnerving, but it doesn't have a power. It no longer, like, talking about it, like, I can see a difference in how you would act and how, like, if I would have mentioned it, like, ooh, like there was clearly that thing, and it's just like
it was triggering for a little bit.
It was,
and rightfully so.
Absolutely.
I would say it was very,
100%. I completely agree.
Awful.
And it was, but I see, like, even just in your demeanor now, it's like you're still, like, you haven't flinched. Like, you're like, yes, it was very scary, but you're, like, speaking the truth as far as, like, yes, it was scary. Yes, this happened. It's like, but this is what happened, and it no longer holds a power over me. Like, you were able to kind of step past that level of things.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have a power in you. That's why, you know, I was like, even talking about it, I'm surprised you like talked about it, because I was like, oh my gosh. And then it's like continuing to talk about it. It's like, but no, this doesn't hold a power anymore. Like, it's just you're on a whole different plane that this thing is not even like remotely in tune with, you know?
And I feel like it brings, like, I don't know, like, awareness might be the wrong word, but it's just like strange shit happens to people, and it's
I think awareness is a good word.
It's not explainable, and like a Snapchat filter where you're like, ghost, open your mouth, and like the tongue comes out, or like you have this weird thing happening to you for like over a week. Like, weird things happen to people that are unexplainable, and it just kind of like circles back around to like that sixth sense of like, there's probably a lot more going on that we just can't see. That we just can't sense. And that doesn't mean it's not happening. There is a magnetic field. We can prove that. Birds can see it. We can't see it. That doesn't mean it's not there.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. It, on this TikTok journey that I've dived into.
Welcome to the dark side.
One of the things, obviously, because I've so learned from Amanda that obviously the people that you follow, the videos that you watch, the longer you watch them, all this stuff, it's all part of this bigger algorithm. And so, you know, Amanda's into more of like the spiritual, like witchy, like witch talk and like all these other like things, you know, and of course it then filters through to mine.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people I see, and so a lot of people I see have the dowsing rods, and they'll be holding them, and then they'll cross when it's a yes, and then they'll go apart when it's a no.
Yes.
And so they've, like, it's this, like, a couple chicks that are, like, more regular, and they've talked to, like, Patrick Swayze and Elvis and, like, the people on Glee that have died, and it's just, like, all, it kind of falls more into the vein of, like, conspiracy theorists, but it's just, I mean, there's things that, my mom has a friend who's a psychic, like, you know, I've gone to a psychic reading of some complete stranger who nothing about the women that were at this party, like, there's a sensitivity that certain people have that, you know, clearly you have, obviously, that I don't experience because I've never experienced anything like that, and it's just,
wow, it.
Right. But there's, to an extent, you've experienced a piece of it, and you know, it's all very real. It's all constantly around us. And then there's, you know, people that are so different just as an everyday thing. And on this plane that we live on, there's so much on either side of that plane on so many other different levels and spectrums and all of it. So I'm proud of you for sharing it. I know it was really, really hard.
Thanks.
Well, I know it was hard, and I didn't expect that that's where it was going to go for you.
I didn't feel like you would. I thought I would kind of like throw a little bit of a curveball.
It threw a curveball. You said you said your story is extremely scary, which it is.
I think it's terrifying.
No, and it is. Like I said, that's why I was like, no, hearing someone go through this, it's like, just be there for them and try to be as much of a positive light as you possibly can.
Yeah.
And try to, you know, give your own whatever you need to give, I guess. You know, like, that's all. I was like, okay, I was like, here's some of my positivity. I'll pray for you. I'll pray for your home. You know, it's like, I will let this thing know that it is not welcomed by me, and I care about you. Therefore, it's not welcome in your life.
Yeah.
For the benefit of you, you know? So, yeah,
that's
I
did. You're such a great friend.
Thank you. I like to think so. And I didn't.
You are.
Thank you. I didn't think that. I didn't know that was going to be your story.
I don't think you would, but then I thought I would. I would make it like the double down with the you and me story to start.
Yeah. No, that was honest.
I was like, honestly, if I think of 2 times in my life, both I've shared with Hayley. Like, the first time was like literally with you, and the second time I've like actually shared with you.
Because I've never experienced. My sister's experienced shit.
Kelsey, write in.
Yeah.
Not a PSA, but a PSA.
She, bless her heart, she just doesn't want to step on any toes, and it's like...
They, them, baby.
No, I mean, it's more of a... I don't think any of my family knows even how podcasts work, to be fair, except for my sister and my mom and maybe my dad.
I mean, you don't... Kelsey, you don't... This is directed at you, Kelsey. You don't have to use any names. The friend I talked about, nobody even knows the gender of this friend. Like, it's just a mysterious person on Earth.
Yeah.
Nobody has to know. The only details that we are privy to is the details you provide us.
Exactly, yeah. And I've told her, and she may write in. She just wants to be respectful because it is a very personal story, which is fair. And it's not necessarily her story, even though it involves her in a way. It's not necessarily her story to tell. She just wants to be respectful.
Sure.
Especially of the dead.
All right.
So anyway.
That's fair. That's fair.
Thank you for sharing. That was an extreme level of vulnerability I was not anticipating.
Same. Until last night. And I was like, I know what I'm doing.
At first, I thought you were going to go into the story about us and what we experienced in my bedroom, and then this whole bit as, like, the precursor. I was still expecting, like, a full-fledged
oh my God,
story. So I was like, oh my God. She's making me re-feel these feelings, and then she's going to hop into, like, another scary-ass story. And I'm like, I don't have the capacity.
I am frazzed now, that story. I was like kind of rehearsing it last night just to like make sure that I wasn't leaving out any details and like because everything that happened was like very specific.
Yeah.
And it definitely built.
Yeah.
I don't know how else to say. Like I feel like I'm searching for a different word, but it grew in intensity.
And that's exactly that. And
I wanted
it got
to,
more intense.
I wanted to like portray that, you know. And I was like reliving it last night, and Alex wasn't home, and I'm saying it out loud to like help myself like stumble through all the words that we always stumble through. And like at one point in my rehearsing, I turned around and looked into the room that we're in now, and like my couch is on the other side of this room, and it's just like this room is usually just dark.
It's
just
black
like,
hole.
It's just an office, you know, we're not in here a whole lot.
A portal of death.
I turned around, it was just like this black doorway, and I was like, oh, fuck no. And I just like flip on every single light in the house, and I was like, nope.
How was it re-experiencing and like going into all of the detail again?
It was scaring me last night. I won't lie. It was scaring me, but last night I was like, it's okay. Like it happened. It's over. This thing does not have power over you, and we are sharing this with people, you know, for a reason. And it's to whatever, share awareness or just like share my experience, and, you know, people don't have to believe it or they can believe it or whatever. But I think it's just like it further proves my point of just, you know, my whole intro of like, we don't really know what's going on. We don't really know what we don't know.
Right.
And it's like so simple. We don't know what we don't know, of course. But it's like, no, but we really don't understand.
Yeah.
And like that dream with the dogs, like that's the only lucid dream that I've ever had. And it was in my backyard. Like it was so vivid, and it was so just like right outside my house.
Right.
And it's like, and when I think about the comparison of this thing at the foot of my bed, it's like, yeah, it was kind of like that, where it's like, I know that this is happening. And maybe that's why I knew, maybe that was like, I knew that this was happening, and that's why I could like, quote, make the like vines go up my house. But I've never had a lucid dream. And I had an ex-boyfriend years and years and years ago who could lucid dream. And I've always wanted to lucid dream since I learned about it. And I've never been able to. And I haven't been able to since. And that was the only time that I've been able to lucid dream. And
so interesting.
And I don't know what time that dream was, which would be interesting.
The dog dream?
It would be interesting if I knew that information. But I don't. But it was just as vivid as that thing at the foot of my bed. It was just as vivid.
Wow.
And the fact that it was at my house just makes it that much more like, ooh.
Well, it's a sense of vulnerability. That's how when you had mentioned to your, like, this friend that helped you out and whatever and was, you know, like, let me get you all the tools that you need. That friend was very aware that, oh no, this is something that's not a family member. Mm-hmm. It's not someone who or something that's looking out for you. It's something that's trying to take advantage of you. It's something that's trying to feed off of whatever negativity, whatever bad anything that you're feeling, experiencing, what have you.
Yeah.
And the reason that it's like, well, obviously is because it came into your personal space.
Yeah.
So it's like as soon as the dogs made a portal, didn't make a portal, whatever, it somehow allowed this entity to come into your, and it wasn't just coming into your backyard. It was coming into your home. It was coming into your bedroom where you and your husband sleep every single night. Mm-hmm. Like you said, you're like, going into bed is my haven at night, and waking up is like the hardest thing for me to do, is like getting out of my comfy and my safe place. Mm-hmm. So it was this very intimate, very serene, very positive, happy thing for you, and it was trying to take that away. And I mean, power to you for not giving into the fear, giving into whatever else, because it's like, obviously you saw the power within yourself and be like, no, this is my space. This is, you know, like, it's just, a lot of people would probably cower in a corner and not know how to handle it.
I might have cowered for a couple nights.
I mean, well, what else are you going to do? But the important thing is that you saw and you were like, no, like, this is, I have power over you.
Yeah.
And although it was really scary when you were like, show yourself, it's like, no, it happens in movies, stories, all of it. It's like, as soon as you were like, show yourself, or you have a name or something, you have this sense of, this thing gives you a piece of its identity.
Yeah.
You hold power over it. And it's like, no, like, this is my power. You are not welcome. And it's just, you know, so yeah, that's why I was like, no, this is not going to come back. It's not good.
No,
it doesn't have a power anymore. And you've already experienced it. So you already have this level of like, okay, God forbid something else happens, which it won't. Yeah. But if something were to happen, you would know how to handle it. And
absolutely.
And you kind of know how to anticipate it. You know?
I also feel like, you know, I've been in headspace for a long time where I used to just be like, nothing is a coincidence. Like, everything is just happening as you hum along on Earth.
Right.
And I'm in a very different headspace now where I'm like, no, there's no such thing as like a coincidence. Like, every single thing is like planned out for a reason. And I think that friend having all of those tools and knowing exactly what to tell me to say to like, get rid of this fucking thing, was not on accident either.
Yeah. And
this person is very well versed in this type of thing.
And that's important, because you don't want someone just giving you haphazardly throwing together information that's like possibly wrong, and then it's like you're taking this and then all of a sudden it knows how to like turn it and use it on you, and it's like, no, someone was very educated. They had a background. They knew what to do. They knew what everything was. They knew how to advise you as best as they possibly could. And I mean, you said that, yes, when this happened is kind of when your journey started, but I feel like right before this happened, you were kind of starting to let like the walls down, and you were kind of really starting to just get to know the most, it sounds weird, but the most intimate parts of yourselves, like just the most inner parts of who you are and who you wanted to be and what you wanted for your life. And so that was just like, you literally just kind of dipped a toe. And so it was like this thing
just like took advantage.
It did. And it's just like, obviously someone, darkness wants to keep dark people in the dark for as long as they possibly can, because the only thing that can triumph over darkness is light. And the more light you have in your life, the more you're going to vanquish the negative and the evil, which is what people, or those things, that's all they thrive off of.
Yeah.
And so if you're becoming your best self and you're becoming your most lit from within self, then you're constantly going to have this flame burning in you that's going to fight against everything else.
And nothing like that is going to manifest in my reality.
Exactly.
Ever again.
Exactly. And exactly, because there's this flame that's burning in you now, and it's like, no, this will not be extinguished. This cannot be extinguished, which therefore eliminates the power of anything else that's going to try to do that. I keep hitting your little...
It's okay.
Your little propagation station.
You're a tough little pothos. You can take it. Well, thank you for all your very kind words.
Oh,
Hayley.
you are so welcome.
Thank you for being a part of that journey twice.
You're welcome.
Sorry
I felt it right there with you twice.
I don't know who's going to edit this episode, but if I don't, I'm sorry to drag you through it a third time.
It's okay. It's okay. It's all good. No worries.
Okay, please let's move on from this into the ghost story that you have brought for us.
Okay.
Okay, Hayley, take it away.
All right, I will happily take it away. So this week I am bringing you a tale that involves the perfect marriage of both of our favorite things to talk about. Murder. And ghosts.
Yes! I love this already.
So I don't know if you've heard of this children's, I guess you'll call it a nursery rhyme.
Oh, no. Okay.
But this is where this nursery rhyme came from. So the nursery rhyme goes, Lizzie Borden took an axe and gave her mother 40 whacks. When she saw what she had done, she gave her father 41.
Wow! I have heard that one. It was very creepy coming from you, though.
I could have done it where I wasn't blinking. I was like, Lizzie Borden had an axe.
I'm glad you blinked.
Gave her...
No. No, thanks.
So yes, this children's nursery rhyme is based off of one of America's most well-known and brutal murders. This is where the term axe murderer actually comes from, and the scene of the crime remains one of the most haunted places in the United States. So let's learn a little bit about Lizzie Borden, shall we?
Lizzie
Borden.
Okay.
So Lizzie Borden was born on July 19th, 1860, to Sarah Anthony and Andrew Jackson Borden. She was the youngest out of her and her sister Emma. Lizzie's father had grown up very modestly and struggled with finances as a young man, despite the fact that he was actually born into a wealthy family. He did eventually gain much success with a furniture and casket manufacturing business and also grew to become a wealthy property developer.
Casket business.
I know.
Interesting.
I know. I will. Despite building a substantial wealth over the course of his lifetime, which amounted to approximately $300,000 at the time of his death, wow, which would equate to about $9 million today.
Oh, my God.
Andrew actually led a very frugal life. He wouldn't spend his money on things that he deemed unnecessary, which some of these things actually were electricity and plumbing. He just didn't see the purpose of them.
But that was like way back in the day.
It wasn't like the late 1800s.
I mean, I don't know. It's not like now where you're like, I don't need a toilet. I don't need freaking lights.
But it was a thing. So it's like if you had the money to be able to have the ease of it, I don't know.
I will say though, sometimes the people that have a lot of money are like the people who don't spend
They're the
their money
cheapest.
on, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Exactly.
No, in Michael and my industry, the ones with the most money are the ones that don't spend.
But it's like the people who are buying like all cash properties are like nitpicking every single fee.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Every single fee. And you're like,
100%.
Dude, you have $2 million. It's just like, wire me right now, but you're going to like ask me about this $50 fee?
Yeah, you're like, okay, thanks.
Really?
Priorities, I guess.
Okay.
He also rarely ever threw anything out or let anything go to waste, so the girls and parents often ate spoiled food.
Ew.
I know. Yucky.
Yucky.
Yucky. I can't do it anymore.
Yes, you can.
It's like once I lost my seagull impression, I can't
you
do
can
like
do it.
Yucky. Is that the same?
It's there.
It's a little different. Okay. Well,
I used to have a ringtone of you going, yucky.
I know.
Yucky.
Yucky. I remember
Exactly.
that. I remember.
Oh, God.
So both Emma and Lizzie had a very religious upbringing, and Lizzie even taught Sunday school at their local church. The girl's mother, Sarah, died at the age of 40, and Andrew remarried a woman named Abby Durfee Gray 3 years after Sarah's death. Emma and Lizzie called their stepmother Mrs. Borden and did not have a healthy or positive relationship with her. Lizzie believed that her stepmother had married her father simply for his wealth. Others believed that it was simply a marriage out of convenience and that Andrew sought out someone to help him raise his two daughters, because obviously he was now responsible for raising them by himself.
Yeah.
Needless to say, the two girls were not the biggest fans of their new family dynamic. It didn't help the situation that Andrew divided up his different properties and gave them to members of Abby's family when Emma and Lizzie believed that the properties should have gone to them. motive for the murder.
That's right. We get the motive.
We get the motive
for the murder.
For the murder. Murder motive.
Murder motive. That's a title.
That is a title. Okay, when Lizzie was younger, she also had made a home for some wild pigeons, and Andrew ended up killing them because he said he didn't want them to draw other children to the home. So just not so nice man.
Okay.
Just his priorities were a little out of whack.
Got it.
So the family relationships continued to be strained, especially as the girls got older, because they were two single women and still lived at home, which both were two no-nos for that specific time period. Yeah, if you weren't married by the time you were 30, you were basically a spinster.
We don't need lights and plumbing, but you better get
yourself a man.
That's right. Damn. Get on it, broette. Sorry, I don't know.
So despite the drama and tension that naturally formed as all of them continued to live together and the girls got older, that still isn't a good enough reason for the killings. So what else happened? Apparently, there were early signs that could have pointed to the eventual murder of the Bordens, but could also have possibly saved them. Days before the murders, the family had gotten violently ill and believed it to be poisoning.
Ooh.
Andrew was not a favored man amongst the town and therefore had lots of enemies, so the idea wasn't very far-fetched. Lizzie had even told a friend, supposedly, that she was nervous that someone was going to come poison her and her family and set their house on fire. Many people think that this was simply a way of Lizzie planting evidence elsewhere to throw people off the trail and that she was, in fact, the one doing the poisoning.
Ooh, okay.
So this brings us to August 4th, 1892, which will be exactly 129 years to the day on the day that this episode comes out. And that was completely by chance when I looked this up.
Wow.
I thought it was very cool. So happy Lizzie Borden Day.
That's only if it doesn't go live next Wednesday instead of...
Ah, fuck nuggets. You're
now
right.
I feel like it should go live the next Wednesday. Fuck nuggets.
We'll figure it out.
We have a technical difficulty we're working through. People, bear with us.
Yeah. Yeah, that.
We don't know when this is going to go live. Hopefully it's August 4th.
It
might be sooner.
Hopefully it's August 4th. So the family had been housing a guest, the late Sarah Borden's, so Lizzie and Emma's late mother's brother.
Okay.
His name was John Morse, and they also had a live-in maid, and her name was Bridget Sullivan, but for some reason they called her Maggie.
Oh, okay. Great. Love that.
My name is Hayley Probst, but you can call me Frank.
My name is Amanda Mejia, but you can call me Peggy.
Peggy. Peggy. I'm going to start calling you Peggy.
That's fine.
Instead of Peeves, it's Peggy.
It's P-E-G-G-Y. There's no I-E, just to clarify.
P-E-G-G. I thought you said Z-Z. Pezzy?
Pezzy. Well, call me whatever you want.
Whatever you want.
Oh, God.
Goodness. Okay, so the family had sat down to breakfast that morning, and afterward, the two gentlemen had some errands to run, so they set off and would not be back till later.
Okay.
Maggie continued to do her normal housework, and Abby, who was the stepmother, had gone upstairs to change the sheets for John in the guest room. Upon Andrew's return, he realized that the front door was locked, so he knocked for Maggie, the maid, to let him in. Maggie attempts to open the door, but the door is jammed, and she testified that she remembered Lizzie laughing from the top of the stairs as she attempted to open it.
Ooh.
Maggie eventually lets Andrew in, and he asks where Abby, his wife, is. Lizzie states that Abby had received a note that a friend was sick and that she had gone to see that friend. Andrew, tired from his travels from the day, stated that he was going to take a nap in the sitting room. Maggie also says that she feels tired and goes to take a nap in her own room. So she goes upstairs and testifies that she remembered hearing the bell of City Hall ring at 11 a.m. when she had gone to go to bed.
Okay.
A few moments later, Maggie hears Lizzie scream from downstairs, "Maggie, quick! Father is hurt! Someone tried to kill him!" As she arrived downstairs, Maggie saw Andrew Borden hunched over in a chair, and he had been hit 10 to 11 times by an axe or hatchet. Just an example of how violently he had been attacked, they said that his eye was resting on his cheek and that even it had been sliced into.
Fuck. Oh my God.
Right.
Just
Have you ever...
like a yolk? Sorry.
We're not going back to chickens.
Okay.
We went on quite the tangent last time. But yes, I think of like a peeled grape. Like if you were to take like a knife and just go whoosh, and slice a grape in half.
Okay. Grape.
Crush her soul like a grape.
Wow, I don't know what that's from.
Oh, it's from Tangled.
Oh, that's right. That's probably like the first Disney reference in 20... How many episodes we're in?
24.
Maybe 23.
Wow. Shame. It's fine, though. You just crushed my soul like a grape. Okay, where the fuck am I in this story?
Ow. Oh, no.
Oh,
not that
eyeball
face.
sliced in two.
Right, the eyeballs.
Right. So detectives came and said that blood was still running from Andrew Borden's body. So he had quite literally just been killed when Lizzie had found him.
Oh, God.
They sought the help of detectives and called on a neighbor as well to help search. And they did find Abby's lifeless body at the top of the stairs. She had been hit in the head approximately 17 times with gashes focused mainly on the back of her head and the side of her face.
Oh, no.
They said that the largest gash was on the side of Abby's head, which they believed happened when she had turned her head to see who was behind her, which I thought was really creepy. Like, that was super eerie to me. Like, she just, like, knows someone's behind her, and she looks, and it's just like, whoosh, 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 whoosh.
Such your axe noises.
Axe noises. Insert axe noises here.
It makes me think of The Shining when the chef is like, hello, is anybody there? Is anybody there? And Jack is just like waiting in the... It's like the only jump scene in the entirety of The Shining. Spoiler alert. And he just like jumps out and he's like, ah! And he just like stabs him with an axe in the middle of his chest.
Can you stab someone with an axe, or do you like hit someone with an axe?
I think you get stabbed.
Look at me. I've been impaled. Did you get that reference?
Yes, I did. Frozen Hayley.
Fine. I just have to be sure now, because now I just don't know what's true and what's not.
Wow. One failed reference in all
It's fine.
the Disney movies. Wow.
It's fine.
Okay.
So investigators... Did you have something to say? Sorry. I want to give you a chance to say something.
I was going to say, no arms.
What?
In one of the last episodes, we were like, no capes, no arms.
Oh, no
And we were like, which is like always your build up. And I was gonna
No
be like,
capes.
no arms. But you started too quick and I was just like, well, let's slide.
They said that... Oh, I said that already. Dip, 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 dip. Investigators said that Abby had been killed a significant amount of time before they had found Andrew. So that meant that the murderer would have had to have been around the house or in the house for approximately 2 hours.
Ew.
As authorities proceeded to question
Or were they the same murderer?
Probably.
Okay.
As authorities proceeded to question Lizzie Borden, she continued to contradict herself. She said originally that she had heard noises and then said she didn't. She said that she was in the house and then said that she was outside the house in the barn. Yet when investigators went to look, there were no footprints in the dirt and no dust or anything had been moved. So it looked like no one had been there in quite a while.
In the barn?
In the barn.
Okay.
Lizzie also denied being upstairs, which, if you remember, is where Maggie heard her laugh when she was struggling with the door to let Andrew in.
Okay.
And if she had been at the top of the stairs, there was a very clear view of Abby's body in the guest room. There is still no explanation as far as why she was laughing, though, which was creepy.
Ew.
Investigators said that the hatchet markings on both bodies were that of a crime of passion or hate, therefore pointing most likely to a family member who had built up anger or rage. After the murderers, people said that they had seen Lizzie burning a dress that she said was ruined because she had covered it in paint.
Ew.
Of course. I bet it was red paint.
I bet
I bet the paint was blood.
Hayley's got it all figured out.
It's coming all together now.
Detectives probed on the case.
I'm on the case. I wish I had a little mustache on my finger. I'm on the case, boss.
Detective.
Put me in, coach.
PB and Probst.
PP and Probst, Esquire.
Esquire.
Like,
man.
they. Lizzie also denied being upstairs, which, if you remember, is where Maggie heard her laugh when she was struggling with the door to let Andrew Borden in. And if she had been at the top of the stairs, that's what I said, there was a clear view of Abby's body in the guest room. There is still no explanation as why she was laughing. Investigators said that the hatchet markings on both bodies were that of a crime of passion or hate. Oh, I already said all this. Jesus, Mary, and Joseph.
I don't think you did.
I did. I remember reading it.
Oh, okay. No, I don't think you did.
Investigators said that the hatchet markings on
maybe you did, but I don't remember. That's
on
like
both
the
bodies
first time I feel like I'm hearing
were that of a crime of passion or hate, therefore pointing to a family member with built-up anger or rage. I did say this.
You did?
Okay, it's fine.
Wow.
Oh, yeah, because after the murders, people said that they had seen Lizzie burning a dress that she said was ruined because it was covered in paint.
I'm paying attention, I promise.
Clearly. Some also say that she had been seen around town supposedly trying to buy a chemical she said she needed for household cleaning, but it could also be made into a poison.
Oh, no. But why would you need a poison if you're just going to, axe everybody?
Because the poison didn't work. I don't know. Maybe the original goal was poisoning, and then it didn't go as planned, so then she just had to chop everyone up because she was like, well.
Dark. It's like, well, you know what?
The Amazon reviews failed me.
I wasn't going to try to have a red painted dress, but we going with it.
Yeah, apparently this is my life now.
Wow.
So Lizzie Borden was arrested and charged with 3 counts of first-degree murder, 1 for her father, 1 for her stepmother, and apparently 1 for the 2 of them combined.
What? Okay.
Which I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense, but okay.
Yeah, whatever.
She went to trial, and during the trial, they had revealed the decapitated heads of Andrew and Abby, to which she apparently had fainted at the sight of. She didn't cut their heads off. The coroner or somebody came in, cut their heads off, shoved them in a bag, and then as part of the trial, brought them out and were like, hey, does this give you a reaction?
Yes! It fucking does, sir.
Triggering?
Sir Judge.
Listen, Judge.
Listen. Oh.
I feel faint.
My God. I feel faint. I feel like I didn't cut them damn heads off. Where did you get them heads? Also, what the fuck kind of evidence is that? They weren't decapitated and we were just like, we're going to cut them off anyways. We're going to bring them into the fucking courtroom.
What does that look like hanging there to you?
I don't know, but we're going to cut it off today. I just the mindset behind that is really wow, that of the 1800s.
I know. So that didn't help at all.
That wouldn't be admissible in court anymore.
Yeah.
Probably for a good reason.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
So no witnesses came forward to fight that she had committed the murder. So there wasn't enough circumstantial evidence to prove to the all-male jury that a quote-unquote a woman wasn't capable of these vicious killings, let alone demure Lizzie Borden. And after 10 days, she was found not guilty, and after the trial, she and her sister Emma moved in together, and Emma continued to fight for her reputation and her character. Supposedly, the sisters later had a falling out where they were not in contact any longer, and nobody knows why. And the murder remained unsolved, and Lizzie Borden died on June 1st, 1927. And 9 days later, her sister Emma passed away, and the two were buried together in the family plot next to their father and stepmother.
Oh, that's with their just heads separate from the rest of their skeleton?
Yeah.
Cool.
Well, they probably put the decapitated heads like in there when they buried them, I would imagine.
Separate.
Hopefully.
Separate from their skeleton, though.
Here lies,
it would be detached.
Here lies Andrew Borden,
it would
body. And then there's another tiny headstone. Here lies Andrew Borden, head.
Oh, my God.
That'd be unfortunate.
That would be one kind of headstone.
She got jokes. She got jokes.
We got a body stone and we got a headstone. Okay.
Oh Lord. Where does a sick boat go?
Oh, no. Wait, a sick boat? A sick boat?
A sick boat.
I don't know.
To the boat dock. It's not the funniest one, but it's a good one.
It took me a second. I was like, wait, the fake? Is that a joke in your head or in your research?
No, in my head.
Oh, okay.
I saw it on TikTok. It's your fault. I blame you for all of the TikTok. It's all your fault.
She said, where do the sick boats let's go. The boat dog. Oh, God. DOC, people. DOC.
What does an irresponsible robot do after sex?
What?
It nuts and bolts.
That's what everybody does? Isn't that the sex? Isn't after sex after the nuts and the bolts?
Well, some people don't bolt. They just sit there in postcoital bliss.
Oh.
Do you get it? He nuts and bolts.
I see. Yeah, the winky. Yep, I get it. Oh, different winky.
Amanda's got the winky on the brain.
Well, you winked at me with both eyes.
So I blinked at you?
Separately. Wow, this is...
Oh my gosh, I'm almost done.
This is falling apart quickly.
It's the 3 margaritas.
Jesus.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. So the Borden house is now a bed and breakfast that you can visit and stay in.
No.
Yes, it is.
Do you want to stay there?
I would stay there. It's in Massachusetts.
Oh my God. Okay. All right, cool.
And the owners of the home have had custom pieces made so that the home looks as close as possible to what it looked like back during the time of the Bordens, which I think is pretty cool.
That makes me think of like the Winchester Mansion.
Yeah. Try to keep it as like on brand as possible, totally. As authentic as possible. People can visit the bed and breakfast today, and it, again, remains one of the most haunted places in the United States. Now we came here for the ghost stories, right?
Yep.
So let's dive in.
What the fuck? Okay. Oh my God. She said she's almost done. Okay.
I am.
Oh, okay.
There's not too much, but
okay.
It talks about ghosties.
Oh yeah, I didn't even realize like there's no ghosts.
Yeah, it's just been a murder this entire time.
And I love it.
So as most of us know, people and animals who die very brutal deaths tend to find it difficult to leave this world. There have been many accounts of many apparitions being seen. There are general fairly standard occurrences, so lights turning on and off, doors opening and closing, and disembodied footsteps and voices.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
Heard of all that damn.
Shadow people have also been seen on the staircase and walking down the main hallway. Staff and guests often feel something brush against them on the stairs. One staff member said that she actually felt what, I guess to her, she didn't see it, but she felt it, what felt like just a single finger going down her spine.
No.
And now here come the actual ghosts. So we'll start with Andrew Borden, who was the father. So they say he is still upset about his life being so brutally and abruptly taken from him, but he does enjoy the fact that things are and facts are coming to light, and the truth is slowly being kind of unturned. In an episode of Ghost Lab, the question, "Did Lizzie kill you for money?" was asked, and an EVP of a male voice responded, "You got that right." And in the YouTube video, an apparition that resembles Andrew can be pointed out in a crime scene photo, and he appears to be looking at his body. A misty figure also has been seen in the sitting room where Andrew was murdered.
Oh, wait.
So we'll go to Abby Borden, who is the stepmother. She can be seen in the guest bedroom, which is where her body was originally found because she was making the bed in there. And there's often what looks like an indentation on the bed as if someone had just been laying on it. Your face is quite a sight to behold. It's slightly Quasimodo-esque. I'm not going to lie to you. It's a little alarming.
One eye is like, this eye is a little smaller, just in general.
Oh no.
That was freaky.
You can also apparently hear a woman's cry in the guest room, and a gray-haired woman can also be seen walking throughout the house. The next ghost is Lizzie Borden. The apparition of a woman resembling Lizzie can be seen most often in the basement, which is actually where they had found the axe.
Ooh.
So it could be Lizzie making sure all evidence was disposed of.
Oh, no.
This one was interesting. Another apparition that people see is Maggie, who was the maid, her cat. So apparently before her death, Abby, who was the stepmom, had found Maggie the maid's cat in the basement, and its head had been chopped off. So there are disembodied meows that can be heard, and then people often feel a cat rubbing up and down their leg So in a loving way, it's a happy cat. Rubbing up and down their leg, specifically in the second and third floor bedrooms. The next apparition is Bridget Maggie Sullivan, who is the maid. There has been an EVP of a horrified woman's scream, followed by, "Ma'am, come quick." This is believed to be Maggie possibly finding one of the bodies or both. People report feeling cold spots in Maggie's room, and the apparition of a woman dressed in a maid's outfit can be seen doing chores throughout the home.
Okay.
And although the mystery still goes unsolved, the ghosts seen and heard around the house can provide clues to maybe one day help justice finally be served. And that is Lizzie Borden and the Lizzie Borden house.
Wow. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome. You're so welcome. It wasn't as spoopy as I wanted, but it's a very classic story that a lot of people have heard of.
Yeah. I've definitely heard of Lizzie Borden. I've heard of that little chant. It makes me think of like a jump roping type of a thing. But I didn't know any of the history behind it.
Apparently they have also built, which I think is kind of ironic, and I don't know if it's a little bit in like poor taste, but they did apparently, they've expanded the grounds a little bit of the Lizzie Borden house, and they now apparently have an axe throwing something on the property. That's just what I read. I don't know the legitimacy of that. I didn't dive further into it. I was like, really?
Wow, that's not cool. That's like taunting, I feel like.
And then there's a lot of people who are skeptics as far as her doing it, because there was John Morse, who was the brother of the deceased mother, and I read somewhere that he also could have been one of the people that was promised property from Andrew, but obviously Andrew was giving it all to his new wife. And so there was talk of like, oh, this John guy was upset, so he might be a suspect. And then there's also talk of like, oh, maybe some neighbors were suspect. And it's just
interesting. Okay.
But
so it's not like proven that it was Lizzie.
No, it's unsolved, and Lizzie's dead. Like everyone involved is dead. So there's not really anything. It's just EVP. That they go off of. Like ghost hunters will go in and try to get as much as they possibly can to try to like crack the case. But obviously when you're working with things like that, it's like not all ghosts are gonna be like, oh yeah, no, it was at this time, this day, it was totally this person. Like they're not very cooperative sometimes. So and you don't really get to choose that. But
yeah, they probably have a lot going on. So
yeah. No, I would go there. I don't know if I'd stay there. I would not stay the night there probably. But I would check it out. Yeah, I would go. I mean, like I've openly gone in the Whaley house. I've never seen anything, but I've openly gone in the Whaley house during the day. So I would go in during the day. Yeah. As soon as it's nighttime, be like, bye.
Really?
Deuces.
Even you? Sometimes you say things that really surprise me.
Really?
Because you're just like so ghosty, and then you're like,
I am, but I don't want to put myself in that situation. There's also why I don't play with Ouija boards. That's also why I don't, I don't want to put myself in that kind of situation to be haunted. Yeah. Or to experience that, because I'll probably just shit my pants. I think it's fascinating when it happens. No, honestly, I would probably be terrified. No, like I'm serious.
Really?
If I had
if I wasn't terrified from my experience.
No, if I had experienced like what you experienced, I'm so thankful I've never had to experience something like that, because I probably wouldn't know what to do with myself.
I didn't either.
I would be so incredibly scared. Like I don't know. Like I already am weird about like I'm the person that's like washing my face, or like if I'm showering by myself. Or I should say with Michael not home, because we always just usually shower together anyway. But like if he's not home and I have to shower by myself because I'm going somewhere or whatever, I'm that person that's just like, don't come at me, bro. But you can't like see you're like rubbing. You're like, no.
Oh my God.
No, like hitting off someone that's just not there. Yeah, I would be, if something paranormal actually happened to me, I'd be really, really scared.
Really scared?
Yeah. Well, the most scared.
Hopefully it never does then.
No, I think it's absolutely fascinating, and I believe in it. And so I'm like, I believe in you. I believe you're there. Just please don't come into my space. Please don't let me see you. I don't want to see that. That's not part of where I'm going in life.
I remember you telling me, like semi-recently, like within the past like 6 to 8 months, maybe to a year, I don't know. And we were talking about, like, if one of us died first, we would, like, haunt the other person.
Okay.
And you were like...
But we have cues. Like, we've come up with cues.
Yes. But your thing was, like, I don't want to see you.
No.
You were like, I just want you to leave me, like, pennies.
Did I say I want you to leave me pennies?
I don't remember exactly where the conversation went, but you were like, I want you to leave me change, or like whatever we were talking about that we would leave each other as like our little cue that we were there. You were like, I don't want to see like a premonition of you. That would be too much.
It would be too much. Yeah, no, I don't want to see anything. I like you haven't lost anyone like super close to me where it's like actually like shaken me to my core.
Mm-hmm.
It might be different if I had seen, like if I wanted so badly to see like my dad or my Nana or my sister, if God forbid something happened to them before their time. Well, I guess it would have been their time if that's, anyway.
Right.
But so someone really close to me, I might feel differently. I might be like, no, I'm desperate to see them. But it's like, for the most part, I'm just like, I haven't lost anyone close to me like that. So I'd be like, I don't remember what I said. I would want you to play me some sort of music. Like if you played me something, if it was constantly something Disney related, I would know that it was you.
Would you?
Actually, yeah, but it would need to be like obscure Disney. It wouldn't just need to be like something that casually comes on like I mean, I listen to Disney music all the time, but it's like it would need to be something specific. I don't know.
It's like eye to eye, just like constantly like keeps skipping to the front of the list.
Yeah, that or it would be Hold On by Wilson Phillips.
Yes, those two. You're like, why is my Spotify broken?
Just on repeat or something.
Yeah.
No, for some reason I'll get like the bits because obviously Bath and Body Works will like just rename their stuff and it'll be basically the same set. Yeah. They might change one note but very slightly. Mm-hmm. And so anything that smells like Aloha Orchid just reminds me of you. So it would just be like Aloha Orchid. Or all of my plants would just be like, huh? And I'm like, oh, she here. Oh, she here.
I feel like, I don't know how, but hopefully we just die together.
Hopefully I'll definitely come back and haunt your ass, but I'll do it in a I'll do it in a very respectful way. Very respectful.
I quote, I will definitely come back and haunt your ass.
I will, 100%. I feel like you'd be really upset and be like, bitch, where you at?
Probably.
Where you at?
Probably. Yeah.
I don't know what I would do. I wouldn't do something scary.
Maybe I would ask you for something.
It would just smell like sauteing like butter and garlic constantly. Oh, no, maybe by my smell. Because you say that I have like a specific smell.
Yeah, that's true.
You would just smell it. I don't know what that smell is, but you say I have a specific smell.
It's Hayley. Everybody has a specific smell.
I know, but you've made it very clear that I do to you. Like I have a specific smell for you. Yeah. So you would probably just smell that, whatever that smells like. Yeah. I don't know. And then I'd probably, what if I like fogged up your mirror and wrote you messages? Would that be too scary?
Knowing you'd probably make them fucking creepy.
I'd probably just draw penises on your mirror.
No.
Mickey Mouse ears and penises.
Yeah, that wouldn't be scary. It would be freaky.
I wouldn't put them.
Don't do it when I'm there. That would scare the shit out of me. Do it when I'm in the shower and when I get out, there's a penis on the mirror. And then I'm like, oh, hi, Hayley.
Oh, you wouldn't want me to do it? Like you wouldn't want to hear like the...
No.
As I'm like writing on your squeaky mirror?
Fuck no.
Okay.
That is like sending
shivers down my spine. You would want to be like in the shower and hear it then.
I don't want to hear it.
Because then you're in the shower. What if it's an actual person?
You're fucked up, man. You fucked up, man.
Listen, I didn't ask for this. You took it to a whole other place.
We were talking about you being dead and drawing penises on my window. We weren't talking about people.
What if you open your bathroom door and you just see Ding Ding just floating there? Then you'll know.
This is, yes, there we go.
And you'll be like, Hayley, are you there? And it'll just drop.
Wow. And I'll be like, hello, Hayley. Cool. Great. That's how I'll know.
Hello.
We'll just cross that bridge when we get there. How about that, Hayley?
Let's hope that
we go together.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to be around like a friend my age dying.
No, we're not. It'll be a long time. Long time.
It'll be a while.
Yeah.
It'll be a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, best believe I'm going to come back and haunt you.
I'm going to haunt you. I'm going to haunt you.
It's not a contest. I'll do one scare. I'm going to do one scary.
No.
Yeah, I will.
Why?
Because I have to.
Why the fuck? Do it to Michael, not to me. I don't fucking want that shit.
I want my sister.
I want penises on my mirror and that's it. Don't you be fucking scaring me. You give that scary shit to someone else.
What if I just...
No.
What if you're sleeping?
No.
And then I just hover over you and I'm just like...
No. wow, that face is horrifying.
And then you wake up and I just disappear.
You don't want to see me, but I have to see you making a horrifying face. Like, I can't even just be in your corner, like, waving nicely, like, hi, I miss you,
you know what I'll do? I'll draw a penis on your mirror. I'll fog up your mirror, and I'll draw a little penis, and then it'll be like, Hayley, and then I'll draw a little Mickey ear, and then you'll be like, oh, shit, no, it's definitely Hayley. And then I'll write...
Death is coming.
No.
You're gonna fucking
I'll write
die
red
soon.
rum. No, I'll probably write like C, like SEE question mark, and that'll be me like, do you want to see me?
No.
And then I'll like show myself. No,
I don't.
What if I'm not scary? What if I look just like this?
No,
and I'll be like,
you would be the ghosty and then
fine, then I won't show myself at all. You'll never see me again once I'm dead.
Let's touch base when that happens. If that happens, maybe we'll die together. Let's stop talking about it.
Okay. That was a tangent. Anyway, if you're still listening to us,
yes,
please.
Thank you for still listening.
Yeah, and please continue to listen. Please continue to like, rate, subscribe, tell your friends,
right?
Tell your families.
We're really jumping right out of
Tell
this.
random people on the street.
Yes, and tell us.
Yeah, tell us. Tell us all of your creepy ghost stories.
We
all
know
of
you
your
have some ghost stories.
Weird. Yes, we do. All of your Kelsey, are you listening? All of your
Kelsey.
Tell us all of your weirdness. You can write into us at weirdifypodcast@gmail.com, or you can write in your stories or give us a topic suggestion on our Make Contact tab on our website, weirdifypodcast.com. You can also follow us on socials.
Yep.
At Weirdify Podcast. We
are
are
all the socials.
Yep. We are available wherever you get your podcasts. If you think of it,
wherever
we're there.
Your ear holes fancy.
Yeah. You can paint
Instagram, Twitter,
paint with all
YouTube.
the colors of your ear holes.
Wow. Yep. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think that was pretty much it.
I think so.
We hope that you've enjoyed this episode.
And that it wasn't too spoopy.
And it wasn't too spoopy. Even if it was, then that's what we were going for.
Yeah, then too bad.
Yeah, I think that's all I have.
I think
all you have?
We can't talk. That's all I have too.
Wow. You want to try that one again?
I think that's all I have too.
Okay. Well then, until next time,
keep
it weird. Oh, my balls dropped on that one.
Your balls dropped?
Yeah, I was like, weird.